Hello, Ignite attendees. Welcome to our session. We're going to talk about labor market trends in cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is one of the fastest growing areas in the technical industry, and we're excited today to show you where the opportunities are and what skills you need to get into this industry. My name is Anthony Kerr. I'm the go-to-market lead for our Global and Future Skills programs in Worldwide Learning organization within Microsoft. And I'm here today with Akash. Akash, could you introduce yourself?
Yeah, for sure. I'm Akash. I'm a senior data scientist in the economic graph team at LinkedIn. And what we do is we take all the fabulous data that LinkedIn has and try to make sense of the labor market education landscape using that. Today, I'm very excited to share a bunch of things with you. We'll start for just to set a very baseline level of understanding as to why cybersecurity is so important. We'll move on to some labor market trends based off of LinkedIn's economic graph, which is jobs, skills, and member data. We'll talk a little bit about skills required in cybersecurity, and Anthony will share some of the learning pathways available for you to start your career in cybersecurity. So as throughout 2020, we spent an increasing amount of our time online, and as a result of that, there was a massive increase in cyber threats. So you might have heard of ransomware attacks like Colonial Pipeline, but just looking at data from the FBI, the number of complaints in the cybersecurity realm jumped massively from 2019 to 2020. And this was accompanied by billion-dollar losses, 4.2 billion in 2020 and over $13.2 billion from 2016 to 2020 as a whole. Across the board, the number of cybersecurity threats has also risen. So all the way from phishing to identity theft, personal data breaches, you see a jump in 2020 numbers relative to the previous years, so much so that President Biden actually has made it a priority through his executive order to improve the state of cybersecurity in the United States, including a focus on scaling up the workforce. So what does this workforce look like? We can tell you that using LinkedIn's economic graph data. This is just all of the jobs, the members on our platform, the skills that they have, companies, etc., updated 5 million times a minute globally. For this particular analysis that I'm going to share with you, we looked at premium jobs in the United States from 2018 to 2021. In September, this gave us over 100 different cybersecurity titles. Similarly, with members, we looked at members who held one of these 100 plus titles within the United States. And then finally, using our skills genome methodology, we were able to suss out the skills that were uniquely important to cybersecurity jobs. Currently in the United States, the cybersecurity workforce stands at about 230,000 members, professionals. The pace of growth actually slowed down going from 2019 to 2020 versus the previous period. It was 1.9% increase compared to a 5.1% increase previously. A similar thing happened with jobs. So while cybersecurity jobs did increase 52% year over year, the pace of growth was not as high as we would have liked to have seen, comparing with the software industry, of course, and then all jobs on our platform as a whole as well. But there are signs that there is a silver lining, of course, and that is that entry-level cybersecurity jobs are growing at a tremendous rate, faster than overall jobs, and the share of entry-level jobs in cybersecurity has come up to parity with the software industry as a whole, based on the latest data that we've looked at. As with all work, remote work is just becoming the way that we work now. So goes with cybersecurity. 15% of all job listings in cybersecurity were for remote jobs compared to 11% of all listings. Of course, software had a higher number, but one thing to keep in mind is that the growth for cybersecurity remote jobs was much faster than all or software jobs. And it's not just that cybersecurity jobs are keeping up with the latest in how we work. These are really well-paying jobs as well. Based on the Bureau of Labor Statistics projection for 2020 to 2030, cybersecurity is one of the top 20 fastest growing areas and actually has the third highest median pay out of the top 20 fastest growing areas, as shared by the Bureau of Labor Statistics.
Akash, we have a question in regards to someone who has a bachelor's of science in computer science and is wondering what steps they should take to enter the cybersecurity space. Would it be appropriate for them to get a master's or back to your point around entry level, is that where the opportunity is at right now?
Yeah, coming from a computer sciences world actually makes it a lot easier. We'll see this in the skills focus a little bit later as well. But just for starters, cybersecurity jobs are software jobs. So if you're thinking about an engineering career, and a career in the cybersecurity industry can look similarly lucrative. And what's the best part is you already have a bunch of the skills required. On top of that, of course, master's degrees are one path to pursue. We'll share a bunch of learning paths or certifications that you can pursue. Of course, you can stack these on based on your time, flexibility pertaining to the financial side of things as well. So you can really, the doors are wide open if you already have a bunch of the technical skills that make the foundation of engineering roles all over the world. So back to, again, the point that I was making, which is software jobs and cybersecurity jobs are not that different. In fact, most cybersecurity jobs are in the software industry. The financial industry, of course, follows as a close second. But the thing I would like for you to take away from this is that cybersecurity is important across all of these industries, right? We are using digital tools, data, information systems to make our lives better across all of these industries, which means there's a threat surface everywhere. So all of this really represents white space, especially if you're starting out and thinking of a career in cybersecurity. Here are some of the skills, some of the top titles, and these have stayed consistent based on job demand over the years. You don't see a lot of change. Network engineer, cybersecurity engineer are some of the most in-demand jobs within cybersecurity. The skills that are required across most of these jobs, these are just some of the most common skills. So you can think of these as the core cybersecurity skills that will get you most of the jobs. And we've matched these across the 100+ titles that we identified. So you can see being skilled in network security gets you a skill match with nearly all of the 100+ cybersecurity jobs. But one of the more interesting things that we can do is look at fastest growing skills. And this is where you start to see the variety of skills that you might require for a career in cybersecurity. So things like data infrastructure, but also business strategy and understanding how security might contribute in a positive way to that. Consulting, analytical skills, soft skills, especially as we start to move towards a world of remote work, are going to get very, very important. And to further illustrate the breadth of skills required, and also going back to the earlier point we were making, if you have some of these skills, what areas might you need to add to your repertoire? So if you're starting out from computer sciences, you already potentially have a very good handle on most of these computing tools. You may also already understand data structures, data infrastructures, cloud computing, etc. So we are now left with some of the more core cybersecurity and computer networking skills. And if you're looking to move into the business strategy side of things, those are also skills that you can pursue. Anthony, over to you.
All right. So here at Microsoft, we have a lot of certifications, but this year we actually launched the Security Compliance and Identity Training and Certification Solution area. So now we have a portfolio of security certifications that will allow you to validate your cybersecurity skills and make yourself more attractive in the job market. So we have Azure Security Engineer in our role-based portfolio, the Microsoft 365 Security Administrator, the Information Protection Administrator, Identity and Access Administration, and Security Operations Analyst. But if you're just getting started, we have the Security Compliance and Identity Fundamental Certification that's going to allow you to gain more familiarity with the space if you're just getting started with cybersecurity. Next slide, please. So For the Security, Compliance, and Identity Fundamentals certification, this is an example of what you're going to learn and what you need to know to pass that certification exam. So concepts of security in general, capabilities within our own Microsoft portfolio of products, capabilities with Microsoft Security Solutions, the compliance solutions, so on and so forth. And it does feature a number of products from a variety of disciplines in this fundamental certification. So if you are just getting introduced to cybersecurity today at this session, I highly recommend checking out this Security, Compliance, and Identity Fundamentals certification here at Microsoft. Next slide. So we have a lot of resources that can help you learn about cybersecurity, learn skills, apply skills, and validate skills. So your first step is to go to Microsoft Learn, microsoft.com/learn. And then within Microsoft Learn, you'll see we have a lot of learning paths, a lot of modules, and we also have a number of learning modalities that you can engage with to learn about cybersecurity. And once you've found your niche and found the content, then I would recommend pursuing those certifications that make you more attractive to employers and also allow you to validate your skills. And also, you can find Microsoft Security on Twitter and LinkedIn. Just type in Microsoft Security, will pop up. Next slide, please. So Q&A. So someone asked about the certifications or suggestions for someone changing careers from help desk support to cybersecurity. So just like I mentioned earlier, you want to start with that security fundamentals. And then from there, you want to pick a niche or a discipline to pursue further. And similarly, someone asked how to stand out and land that first entry-level job. Again, the certifications are a great start, but Akash, what resources could someone leverage on LinkedIn to stand out for employers?
Well, first of all, having a solid LinkedIn profile, as a just very generous plug here, it always helps. Right now, you can demonstrate your openness to work. For example, you're already in the market looking for a job using the Open to Work badge on your profile as part of your profile picture. But in addition to that, LinkedIn Learning, again, similar to Microsoft Learning, offers you a ton of resources, especially on things like interviewing, things like soft skills, business strategy. And those skills can really help you stand out above and beyond someone else who also might have a similar technical background as you. Your ability to plug into the business, work with partners, etc., will really put you over the top, especially if you're starting out.
Absolutely. So Akash, if someone is in IT today and they want to make that jump over to cybersecurity, how can they take those skills that they already have and use that as a leverage to get into a new space?
A couple of ways, Anthony, might work here. Certifications, again, can't stress this enough. Certifications are a great way to demonstrate both your commitment to learning new skills and also your value to potential employers in the form of, you're already showing that you are willing to go above and beyond your current path and learn a lot more skills, even though you might not have them currently. So it demonstrates learning potential, but also is a great way to signal qualifications. Outside of that, start to look for entry-level roles. Like I said, like we said, there's a tremendous amount of growth in network security, network engineer, network administration roles, which are some of the paths that easily lead into some of the more core cybersecurity jobs. And then as you start to navigate this, you'll start to see some of the more advanced certifications. I know there was a question around CISSP, Network Plus, A Plus, all of the more advanced stuff. Another thing that I might recommend from personal experience is try to look for opportunities to move within your organization. That provides a great way to de-risk, a potential transition for both your current and potential teams, and allows you to take advantage of the resources that might be available within your organization to learn. and acquire some of these skills that will be required.
Absolutely. Akash, I'll ask that we go back a slide and leave the resources on the screen. Someone said that their connection was blurry and they were unable to see all the links. So typically the Ignite sessions are recorded and available later, but just in case it's not available later, here are the resources that we recommend. So we have a lot of people who have experience in IT, and as you mentioned, the certifications, moving within your current organization. But what is your recommendation for someone if they just want to make a clean jump or a clean crossover into security? Where should they start?
Well, we are seeing the trend of the great reshuffle, as we like to call it. You might have heard the great resignation in other places, but there's a significant amount of confidence in the workforce in terms of getting a next role without having to while still staying in the current job. You can afford to take that break, especially if you can financially afford it. You should consider it. Certifications again, but the entry-level roles I would specifically point you to are some of these titles. And I'll go back a couple of slides just to pull them up. But across all of these titles, you can search for jobs that are at the entry level. For example, within LinkedIn job search, you can just put in network engineer, and within the seniority filters, you might look at the entry-level jobs. And from there, across job postings, you'll very clearly be able to see some of the skills, but also competencies. We were talking about business skills, for example, data science skills, etc., that employers are asking for. And from there, you can very, very easily identify the gaps between your existing skill set, your profile, versus what employers in the market are looking for. But yeah, just go ahead and read exactly what entry-level jobs are asking for.
And we've had several questions around degrees and the requirements for entry-level roles. Do we find that security is a space where you need a bachelor's degree or a master's degree, or can you enter that space without a four-year degree or an advanced degree?
Yeah, some of the encouraging signs that I've seen working on the labor market in this space is that certifications really are the currency here. And again, from the very basics all the way to demonstrating specific, for example, offense and defense skill sets, certifications are really what employers pay a lot of attention to. But one other thing that I will like to mention here, Anthony, is some of the unconventional career paths that we've seen. So one of them is, of course, from a very young age, finishing up high school, going into college. Like there's no age limit on these certifications, right, across the board. You are welcome to learn whenever you can, as much as you can. So the earlier you start out, getting an entry-level job within cybersecurity will be that much easier. But another unconventional pathway we've seen is a lot of employers value, for example, active military clearances. So a lot of professionals who have acquired their cybersecurity skills while being employed in the armed forces end up transitioning as veterans into the cybersecurity workforce. So again, two unconventional career pathways that could also lead into cybersecurity. But certifications, back to the original question, do hold a lot of cash with employers, and degrees may not be as important as they once were. Think about this, right? A few years ago, there weren't explicit cybersecurity degrees being offered by even the leading institutions. That has only started in the last couple of years.
Absolutely. And we have two questions kind of related. So one's from someone who is technical. Is there a preferred coding language within the cybersecurity discipline? And another question is from someone non-technical. If someone is non-technical, what careers should they seek out in the cybersecurity space?
Yeah, so speaking of specific skills, again, I am not very deep into the cybersecurity space. I only analyze what's going on in the market. But I can say your basics, right? Your C++ and Python are never going to go out of vogue and are in demand, and some of the some of the fastest growing skills here. The advantage of Python, for example, and this is for both non-technical and technical audiences, is that it leads you into some of these adjacent careers in cybersecurity. So you might not be doing, for example, the core work of network security. You might be working adjacent to this in a data science capacity. And within that role, knowing Python can really multiply the amount of work and productive outputs that you are able to produce. So coming from a non-technical background, that might be where you might want to focus your attention. But like all other industries, cybersecurity has a vibrant group of occupations around it. So anything you can think of, from sales to consulting and helping other organizations improve their security landscape, or internally working within some of the titles that we showed you. Even as far as software sales, right? Cybersecurity software sales are also cybersecurity jobs. So very wide variety of careers available here, and a very promising outlook, definitely, for the future. And working on something that is a real problem in that society faces and definitely needs to be solved.
Absolutely. And someone asked in the chat, how old is too old for a cybersecurity job? Well, first, I would like to say there are nearly 500,000 open cybersecurity roles just in the United States. There aren't enough people to fill these roles. So the demand is strong. It doesn't matter if you are quote unquote old. These organizations, these companies, these employers are looking for cybersecurity professionals. So this is a very attractive space overall. But Akash, do you have any trends on who is moving into these cybersecurity roles, and what are their levels of experience in just employment in general, or in their work life in general?
We haven't looked at all of those things. One interesting thing I will tell you, though, is that we did look at was the generational mix of cybersecurity versus the rest of the United States workforce. And one thing we are seeing is that cybersecurity is not as attractive for younger professionals right now. So compared to the United States workforce, cybersecurity looks a lot older, which again cuts both ways. One is that, of course, like Anthony said, there's a tremendous shortage. So skills-based hiring is really the name of the game here. But the other thing is, on the flip side, this is an area where we can do more to attract people of all ages, because again, a very high priority area with talent shortage.
Absolutely. And I know we don't have a slide on this, but do we know which certifications specifically show up in the job openings or amongst current professionals?
We do not, but I'll be happy to follow up with that, either within the deck or actually with a potentially published essay on LinkedIn itself. So we'll be happy to share the exact certifications. Definitely an important thing to look at. But in the meantime, I will take you to the CTAs. All the fabulous learning links.
So since we've started, I know a lot of people joined after we got through the presentation, but just as a reminder, all of the information in regards to the certifications that Microsoft has available for cybersecurity professionals and those interested in entering the cybersecurity profession can be found on Microsoft Learn. If you want to see all of the certifications that we have available within the Microsoft Training and Certification portfolio, the link at the top right, the certification poster, aka .ms/train cert poster. This will show you our entire certification portfolio. So these certifications make you more attractive to employers. They give you opportunities for salary increases. They enable opportunities for you to switch careers, and overall just empower your career. So if you're really interested in the space and you really want to stand out, we cannot emphasize enough how important especially in cybersecurity certifications are. And we have a couple more minutes. Do you have any examples of questions an interviewer might ask to potential security engineers? Akash, I know we have resources on LinkedIn that assist people with interviews generally, where could they find those?
I will share that link with you, Anthony, so that we can share that more broadly as well. I do not have it offhand right now.
Absolutely. So
if I can put it in the chat.
So if you're on LinkedIn, I recommend visiting LinkedIn Learning. LinkedIn Learning is where you will have all of the training that's available within the LinkedIn ecosystem, and interview training is one of those learning paths, or several of those learning paths that they have available. So I highly recommend you go there. Otherwise, you cannot, or I cannot emphasize enough that you do the security training so that you're confident, and no matter what question your interviewer asks, that you are prepared and knowledgeable about this space. Someone asked, are certifications more valuable than a degree? I believe Akash brought that up earlier, that in cybersecurity, certifications are extremely important because degrees for security haven't existed all that long. So certifications are in fact necessary for certain professions within cybersecurity, but in this space more so than even some other technical spaces. So it looks like, could you please quote the source of the open cybersecurity positions? Akash, do we have the, I guess, the stats on cybersecurity posted somewhere publicly available?
We have not shared this publicly, but we will be looking to publish these very, very soon. Outside of that, the exact number of openings, no, we haven't made that publicly available right now. But the thing that we have made available is the year-over-year growth of job postings in cybersecurity, which is around 52%.
And I will reply to that question specifically, but recently Microsoft made an announcement that applies to the US, and we are committed to enabling training for more than 250,000 professionals to enter the cybersecurity space. And within that announcement, aka.ms/cyberskills, you will see the source for the nearly 500,000 open cybersecurity roles in the United States. And someone asked for the links again. So here you are with the links. So we're running out of time. I want to tell the audience here at Ignite, thank you for watching our presentation. And I hope that you all have a great Ignite and enjoy the rest of the sessions that you attend. And good luck on your cybersecurity journey.